Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. The Canadian Bowler, episode 40. Crazy to think, Daryl, hey?
40 episodes, yeah. We're just trucking along. Lots of videos on our channel now, and who would have known that we would have done this much?
Yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Crappy weather here in Ontario. It's getting cold and wet, and every single leaf on every tree around my house kind of dumped at the same time, so it's just a blanket of stuff I'm going to have to rake this week sometime.
Yeah, we got our first big snowfall on Tuesday or Monday this week, so got about 2-3 inches of snow outside, so
Wow.
That was joyful. Good start to the winter.
We've only had a dusting so far, so we haven't had that bad, but it's been pretty wet and crappy.
Well, I guess before we get going here, just do a quick reminder to like, comment, subscribe here today. So any sort of interaction with our video is helpful for us. We do appreciate any of the support we can get. If you're not able to catch the show live here on YouTube, we are available on all major podcasting platforms, usually within a day or two of the show. Also, I'll have a copy of the video on YouTube, usually within the day as well. So yes, any sort of interaction with the videos, we appreciate it. And if you want to follow us on any of our social media platforms, you can take a look there. Daryl was razzing me before the show because I just created my Twitter and Instagram recently, so there's no pictures and it looks like a ghost account, but just because he was making fun of me, I'll have to get that updated here later today, maybe.
Perfect. Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, it'll be quite the interesting photos. I'll have to select some good ones, I guess. So I guess first order of business, we're gonna do some changing up here of the Canadian Bowler. So figured we wanted to do maybe some new logo and some new graphics for things that we're going to be using here in the future. So we got a new logo made for us. I reached out to a nice little internet platform there, and a person made us a new logo. So I guess, Daryl, do you want to unveil her? There we go. There's the new Canadian Bowler Show logo. Pretty good drawing of each of us. Luke and Daryl look very good, and I have my gigantic beard, so that was most of the problem of our picture there, was getting my gigantic beard to not look so crazy, so that was fun. What do you think of it, Daryl?
I absolutely love it. I think it's about time we kind of branded each of our shows and each of our segments as something unique. And I think this podcast, even though we've used the bowling beaver for a long time, that's kind of our overarching Canadian Bowler logo. This is going to be for our podcast. I think it captures us pretty well. You've got me with a thumbs up. I didn't even ask for the thumbs up, and I do that all the time, so that's perfect. Luke with the fish. You guys love fishing and talk about that quite a bit. And then we've got the video games and the MMA glove, which all of us have kind of talked about over the years. So it captures, I think, everything about us, and it's just a great little logo for all three of us.
Yeah, I was happy you made the I guess suggestion to bring in a new logo or look into getting a new one, because it's definitely summarizes us all pretty well, as you're saying, and then to have a separate logo for the different segments that we run here on the channel, it's probably a good idea and something that was well overdue.
Yeah, and I think we've hit a point now, and like we talked about on other shows, we were looking to hit that 1,000 mark just to kind of give us that benchmark to say, we're growing. We've hit the mark where now everything else coming after it hopefully can expand at a faster rate. And it just gave us that motivation to say, hey, you know what? This is something sustainable. This is something that we're going to have sticking around for a while. So why not start making it more professional and, raise the bar for our own production and have that logo. So that's our podcast. That's going to be our podcast logo, specifically for this show. And then we can look at doing stuff for other things, whether it's segments like technical difficulties, After Dark, or any other live kind of stuff that we do. We may get some logos for that just to brand it as something unique. I was excited to get it, and when I saw it, it just blew me away. It was awesome.
So yeah, we don't need to show anyone the outtakes of some of the problems we had with the logo. For anyone who wasn't listening, Daryl doesn't have it queued up, I don't think, but no. we had to give feedback about my beard. My beard was the problem, where I think we had to do 3 revisions, and we kept asking them to change it. And one of them, I look very much like a pirate named Blackbeard or something like that.
It was pretty dark.
Yeah, they darkened my beard pretty bad on the one, but yeah, it was a process. It was fun. I know we all kind of got a kick out of it, and maybe someday you'll all see the Blackbeard pirate me picture at some point. But so I guess actual Bulls topics. We do have some Bulls topics to cover. I guess the first one. Did you want to cover that one there, Daryl?
Yeah, absolutely. So we missed doing this the last time. The announcement had been made by Bulls Canada that somebody that I know from my home club was put into the Canadian Disability Hall of Fame. Vivian Berkeley. She's a visually impaired bowler. I think she's in the fully blind category, which is I want to say B1. She was bowling there when I started that many years ago, back in, I think at Heritage I bowled in 1997. She had a 21-year career, won 60 medals, which is absolutely incredible. Fully blind, as I said, she blew me away whenever I saw her bowl at the club doing practice, because she practiced all the time. Just incredible what she could do, not being able to see what's going on. It blew me away. I worked with her husband for a short time. I did summer student work at the B.F. Goodrich Michelin tire plant that was here, and he worked there as well. Got to know them a little bit on the green. She was traveling all the time to competitions and practicing all the time. And all I can say is, if you know her, if you know her accomplishments, it's mind-boggling the amount of stuff that she's done. And being a blind bowler as well, it gives you an appreciation if you get to see her play or any other visually impaired bowler play. It gives you another angle of appreciation for the sport. I got to coach someone that kind of came along after her to try to help them understand the game, get a little bit better, get some higher level coaching, and just trying to understand how they understand the game, the instructions to give them, what their adjustments are for how to get closer, how to get a little bit narrower or wider, depending on what they do. It's amazing. So congratulations to Vivian. She is very deserving of this honor. She is an incredible bowler, probably one of the most decorated bowlers in Canada that a lot of people might not know about. But good on her.
Yeah, no, when I read that news release, I didn't realize that we had I knew we have a few very prestigious blind bowlers in Canada, and I didn't realize that she'd won quite so many medals, like been to multiple Commonwealth Games and multiple World Championships and medaled all these different times. So that was actually very interesting to sort of know about someone that maybe I didn't know very much about previously. As you're saying though, blind bowling is quite the thing to watch or be part of when you're in there, because I think Regina hosted one of the blind bowling nationals probably when I would have been in my teenage years, maybe over a decade ago. And I remember watching it, and it's incredible to see the quality and then just how they make adjustments, and how I guess their support person has to direct them to sort of what they need to do to change the shot. And I think when we were there, I was seeing some of them doing clapping, how many times they clapped is how much weight they needed to add. It's a very intricate, I guess, bond almost between those support people and the players at times. But it's quite awesome, and I'm glad to see that she's getting some recognition. And really in the last, year here, we've started to see Bulls Canada actually focus a bit on promoting para bowls and sort of bowls for people with disabilities, because I think that's been a huge chunk missing from the Bulls Canada platform, because we've had the Blind Bowlers Association for years, and it was never part of the Bulls Canada website, which was kind of, I felt, a big oversight. And I'm glad that it's actually starting to get some recognition, and looks like they're trying to plan a championship probably around nationals in the future. So I think that's great to see, because that's a big part of our sport that I think we could really develop and kind of implement in the future.
I think so too. It's something that I've been part of some of the conversations at Bulls Canada, kind of bringing that on, and I think it's really important. The Paralympic side of it, the inclusiveness of Bulls, that anybody can play it. I mean, I think it just adds that another level of, you have a physical disability, a mental disability, visual, hearing problem, whatever it is, whether it's minor or major, you can still bowl. And that's a huge message to everybody that, regardless of who you are, where you are, and what's going on with you, bowling is a great avenue to play, because anybody can do it. You can do it by yourself. You can do it with a group, family, any age. I think it's just the perfect inclusive sport for everybody.
Yeah, no, definitely couldn't have said it better. When I've played internationally for Canada, like, I still can remember seeing, like, I think it's a guy from England that uses his foot to bowl. Like, he pushes the bowl along the ground with his foot. So it really is a sport that pretty much anybody can play, even if you have physical limitations, mental, whatever it might be. Like, it's a sport that essentially anybody, as long as you're willing to give it a try and sort of keep trying and working on your technique, whatever it might be, it's something that anybody can really play. And so I'm quite happy to see some development in it in Canada, because that was my profession for a long time, was working with people with disabilities. And we had some Special Olympics bowlers at our club that I was involved with about 10 years ago. So it's nice to see that it's kind of getting a bit of a push, because I think it's a big hole that we could definitely fill, because there's people who play in other countries, like England and Australia specifically, kind of seem to target it a lot more. So maybe someday soon we'll see a little bit more of a presence from Canada, maybe in the Paralympics or Parabowls tournaments.
I hope so. That would be fantastic. And I just want to give a quick shout out. Dave Allen's in the chat. He says, great logo. And he says, Michael, at least it's not a gray beard, which is true. I've got the gray coming on here.
To say, give me about 10 years, I'll probably have a pretty predominantly gray beard. So I'm enjoying my last few years with reddy brown, whatever we want to call my beard color.
So Dave, at his club in Preston, has done some amazing things. They're not the biggest club out there, but they're passionate, and they're really trying to make it an inclusive sport in their area in Cambridge, Ontario. They have a unique group, which I haven't seen anywhere else. I'm not sure if any other club has them, but it's a transplant group that they had in, which it's all people who have had transplants of some type, whether it's like a kidney transplant, heart transplant, whatever it is. And they came and they took up bowling at that club and kept their group going for a long time. I'm not sure if that group as a whole is still going, but it was a huge boom for Dave's club, and I just want to give him kudos in the Preston Lumlin Club for doing that, because it's those kind of groups that are going to really cement themselves as great volunteers, great promoters of the sport, and great promoters of your club if you bring them in and have them take part in the sport, really.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting idea to have a transplant group. But as you're saying, if it's something you can kind of put together and get a group of people into a sport like that, that's probably one of your easiest ways to recruit a decent sized group of people, is if they have this sort of similar interest or something that they previously have connected over playing a sport, or casual coming to the club casually every week or two type of thing might be another good activity for people to take up.
Absolutely.
So I guess our next topic we sort of wanted to get into was reviewing our After Dark conversation that we had.
Yep.
So we had the After Dark show 2 weekends ago now.
Yes.
Where we had the Watson brothers from Saskatchewan, Derek Dillon, Derek from Ontario, you, myself. So we had quite a good conversation. Actually, it was pretty back and forth. We all had very differing opinions on the Canadians, what needs to change, what could be improved. What did you think of the show?
I thought it was really good. Obviously, in an hour show with a bunch of people talking, we're not going to solve all the world's problems in one night, but we're hoping that the After Dark and the conversations we have there and the debate back and forth will spark people that are watching to think about it as well and to start those conversations. It's things that people not always want to talk about. It's not things that readily come up in conversation, like, why don't people want to host, and is there a better format? You name it, and we can talk about it. So I think it was a really good platform to just get those conversations started. I have a feeling that we'll probably revisit it in another After Dark somewhere down the road to say, hey, how did the event at Burlington go, and are there more changes and all that kind of stuff. So a great episode. Go check it out if you haven't. We had a lot of fun with the group that we had there, and that's really what the After Dark is all about. It's casual conversation, having debate, having discussions in just an open, honest format, and really not necessarily solving everything, but at least throwing out ideas so that people that are making those decisions, or clubs that are thinking about doing something, can really think about all the options.
Yeah, no, like, I enjoyed the show there because we were able to really talk about just the nationals in general, and how when you kind of struggle to find a host club for your main event, there's got to be some sort of problem that maybe needs to be worked through by the national body or whatever the situation might be. So we had a good conversation about like Derek and me have been to probably each or close to each of the last 10 nationals, the two of us. And so then we talked about what we saw as kind of unnecessary or what could be improved upon. And it was good to kind of see it from multiple different sources, because you've got, I guess, each of us on the show there have been to a nationals at least once before. And then we've kind of got our different opinions from different parts of Canada. So it was really good to see the different points of view, because I might see things from a Saskatchewan perspective where maybe I don't like that Ontario is getting 2 nationals next year and that Saskatchewan never would have gotten a chance to host the juniors like we were allegedly supposed to. But that's a side note where I'll let that one drop.
Well, I mean, the conversations we had were just, I think, perfect for the situation we were in. Volunteer burnout, coming out of a pandemic. On my side, I was thinking, hey, going into the show, I was thinking, hey, this is a great opportunity for a club. Get out there, be the first one to put on an awesome event, be the first one to show that, we can run an event even with sort of the pandemic looming in the background, even though we're kind of getting through it, and be the one to make a lot of money from it. Like, hopefully you'll get people out. Hopefully you'll get competitors coming out and people wanting to see it, and make some cash for your club coming out of some rough years that we've had. But then the counterpoint that people had was, well, people are tired after being away for so long. They just want to get out and play. They don't want to work. And volunteer burnout. Is Burlington doing it, back to back? Is that a great idea? There's tons of pros and cons to what we talked about.
Yeah, I quite agree. It was a good conversation to sort of see the benefits, because I guess we had the Watsons who were from Regina, where they hosted 2 years ago or 3 years ago, so they saw the financial gain and sort of talked about that. Your club technically hosted a couple of years ago as well, so we know the financial gain, and we also know the volunteer burnout side of it, because we've all kind of indirectly or directly been involved in the planning or implementation of the championships. So that aspect was great in the conversation, and I also did really enjoy talking about the format and the issues that we see with the format, because as it currently sits, I think there is some problems with the format of the Canadian Championships, where it could be longer, it could be shorter. You could go more TV friendly. You could keep it the way it is. Like, there's probably about 10 different ways that things could go, and we kind of covered probably a good portion of those ways. And it was quite nice to get that interaction and see what people's opinions were about potentially playing the shorter games where maybe we're being TV friendly rather than being the longer traditional round robin games where you play a full match, 18 ends type of thing. So it was fun to get those points from everybody, because
Absolutely.
I think it's something we don't really, I guess, get that conversation going with. Would you enjoy playing in a championship if it was shorter games and you potentially could be done quicker? Like, it's not something that's a common conversation that occurs.
That's 100% true. And I came out of that conversation with some questions of my own that I'll probably mull over for a bit. Like, are we playing the Nationals to find the best bowler in Canada, or the best team in Canada, or are we doing it to try to promote the sport and do streaming and, you know, get sponsors? Because those are totally two different objectives that I don't think the same format will work for.
Yeah, I can't agree anymore. It's kind of I think there's a big line in the sand almost, where if you're wanting to still get the full length games, you do have to kind of stray from that. I think for the more TV streaming friendly, sponsor friendly type of environment, and we talked about it, and I think it one of the things we did bring up is that there might be room for a second championship, or a more like making a separate event, like a UBC type of thing they have in Australia, or the Phoenix, which has essentially kind of became the Canadian equivalent to that. So elaborating on that a little further, where maybe if you can get some satellite provincial events and then kind of have a big national event where that's a more stream friendly type of a game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's great. The UBC, I'll say the Phoenix event was great to stream because those matches were so short, and it was action from start to finish usually, lots of scoring. You didn't have to drag on the games and find ways to fill it with conversation and those lulls. You're not just having dead air. It was, you know, constant move, talk about the people, you know, half an hour and you're done. And then you can chop those up and people can watch those matches later in a short format where you're not bringing up a video that's 3 hours long of a championship and trying to find the best moments of it.
Yeah, no, I rewatching your streams from the Phoenix there, it's not very much dead air. Like, as you're saying, it's just boom, 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 on to the next end. Oh, that was this many points for that. And like, just getting a hold of that format and understanding how the points are even scored in that format, that part of it was interesting for me to kind of get used to that. So it's a much more exciting format, but I guess, as we kind of said, you might need to sort of focus on developing the second championship if you're wanting to go that direction, because I think kind of not synopsis, but I guess everyone kind of agreed amongst us that we kind of want nationals to be finding who's the best bowler in Canada. And to do that, I think we all kind of agreed that you do have to stay with the longer games or the full round robins type of stuff, because you're not going to typically get the best player if you're only playing a 10 end game and you're playing 15 games or whatever. It doesn't necessarily get the best bowler, because a 10 end game you can have one lucky shot and that swings the game. So yeah, it's an interesting conversation. So stuff that we can go on probably for hours about, but go check out the show if you haven't. The After Dark series is on YouTube. You can also check it, some back videos on Facebook. We think that it's a great format for just having conversation and bringing up, raising questions. And what we ask of you, the viewer, and anybody viewing our content is chat with us, be interactive. The best part of those After Darks is when we get a chat filled with questions and comments and points that we can then bring onto the show and debate about and continue to give feedback to you guys. And every video that we have out there, kind of a segue into that, every video that we put out, whether it's our coaching videos, our fun videos, our old game videos, we respond to every comment that we can on those. So we like to be interactive with you, so don't
Don't be shy of putting stuff out there and letting us know how you feel, letting us know if you want more content or less content, because we take that feedback and discuss it and try to come up with things that you guys want to see and things you guys want to talk about.
Yeah, like the After Dark is a lot of, if we get sort of a demand for a certain topic, we kind of gear our After Darks towards things like that. So if you do have suggestions even for what you want to see an After Dark about, if you have a topic that you think having a panel talk about would be a good idea, that would probably be something that we're more than interested in entertaining, or at least trying to do, is take any sort of suggestions that you have into moving forward with it.
All right, Mike, you have shrunk.
Yeah, I got smaller there.
Which is very interesting.
Threw me off mid-conversation. I didn't know what to do.
All right, let's get you a little back.
There we go.
You might shrink again or blow up. We'll see, but
perfect. Full screen me. That's what everyone needs, right?
That's right. Next topic of conversation, I guess.
Yeah.
We're going into the winter here in Canada. Things are slowing down, events are slowing down, but we're not gonna stop our content from coming out. We want to do more things, I guess, off the green for you guys in the winter. After Dark, if we can ramp those up a little bit and have them a little more frequent. We haven't had them every month, but maybe we can try to have at least one every month on a good topic. We want to do some more content videos on sort of question and answers. So if you guys have a question, whether it's a rule or a format or something, we can talk about it in a short format video. We want to do a whole bunch of interesting stuff while we have the off season, before hopefully things get right back into the swing in 2022.
Yeah, no, we have a couple of things that we've been planning for a while, and we're gonna make some different types of videos going forward here, because we've kind of figured out how to collaborate across Canada, the three of us. So it's something that we're looking forward to, and we do have some good ideas for things that we can definitely explain or get more information out there about. So definitely keep an eye out over the next little while for new content, because it's something we're going to keep trying to be regular over the winter. It's not all that easy to dream up or make content about lawn bowling in Canada in the middle of the winter, because as I sort of said at the beginning of the program, we already have snow in Saskatchewan. You guys will probably have snow pretty soon.
Yeah.
So it's not really productive to actually bowling at this point, but it's one of those things where we do have some content, we do have some information that we can definitely spread and get across to people. So I look forward to making some different videos here over the winter.
And one cool thing we're gonna try to bring back, which at least people have told me that they really liked, was Coach's Corner. So Mike's a coach, and he's making his way up through the NCCP to try to get his certifications. And I'm already a certified performance coach, but I'm constantly trying to learn and increase my knowledge as well. And we're going to work together, and at least one of us will be hopefully dropping a short Coach's Corner session in our shows over the course of the winter to talk about subjects that hopefully you guys want to hear. So let us know if there's coaching topics that you want to hear about, but we'll try to pick some things that we know are always either a problem for us or a problem for players, and we'll try to tackle that and bring back the Coach's Corner segment.
Yeah, it's something I know you enjoyed doing the little while there at the beginning, and it kind of fell off the point. And I've always told you need to put on a Don Cherry blazer or something along those lines. So we really need to amplify the Coach's Corner aspect of it. So I'm excited for that aspect, because as you're saying, I'm in the process of, I guess, certifying myself as a competition coach. I've done the training. I have to do the actual, I guess, certification next spring, but that's sort of the steps I'm going through. Is we've both enjoyed coaching and seen the benefits, and I think we both like to coach people. It's part of our, I guess, enjoyment of the sport. So hopefully the people enjoy our sort of tips and tricks that we're going to have, because I think we have a few different topics that would lend itself nicely for our show.
I think so. And Dave Allen, timely comment, says perhaps you could have a session regarding indoor bowls in Canada. Certainly varies from the real facilities in BC to indoor on soccer fields and other places. And I'm going to throw this over to Mike because he was just talking about short mat and indoor bowls just before the show. So Mike, take it away.
Yeah, that's one of the videos we do have planned. So short mat is kind of the common that I could say the majority of people can play in Canada, because unfortunately we have one official indoor facility in Canada. I'll say official because there's, as Dave alludes to, there's many soccer complexes that are shared, or just complexes that have turf or carpet inside of them that people have kind of repurposed. So Canada has one official facility, and then we kind of have non-official facilities in a few different provinces, and then short mat is kind of the other sport. And so it's, I don't know, I'd call it a stepsister or stepbrother of lawn bowling, where you're kind of doing the same, you're using the same equipment, I guess, and it's kind of the same delivery, but for a lot of people they kind of really change it up, where they do more stationary things. But it can be used really to kind of keep the motion, or I guess that sort of hand-eye coordination aspect of lawn bowls. It's very similar. So it's definitely a video we're planning to get out here probably in the next month or two, where we're going to talk about what is short mat for one. Pretty much it's probably available in most parts of Canada, I know, and then sort of talk about the indoor bowls in Canada and how I know that is a priority to get it kind of developed or try and develop it. But I know that's always challenging because an indoor facility is very expensive, unfortunately.
And we know that some of our international viewers from other countries have absolutely no idea what short mat is, because you don't necessarily hear about it in the southern hemisphere as much, because in the northern hemisphere, obviously, winter keeps us off the outdoor greens, so now we go indoors. Short mat is probably the easiest to start up and get going rather than an actual legit facility. But I think we focused a lot on the main game of bowls. We may branch out into some of these other formats to give everybody a broader perspective of bowls around the world. Indoor bowls, short mat bowls. Who knows? Maybe we will start touching into Crown Green a little bit and see what that's all about. And there's tons of stuff out there, but short mat is definitely on the radar because we've got that in Canada. We want to promote it as an option for their winter bowling, and Mike's got quite a good group out there in Saskatchewan that do short mat, so he's got some great access to people that play.
Yeah, no, I plan to potentially do some filming there, get some actual footage that we could use to show people what it is and sort of go through short mat in general. And then really I think it is important because I know the cost effective part of it has been able to allow certain countries that don't have lawn bowls facilities to actually sort of expand or start playing the sport. It's like I know a lot of the smaller European countries, well, not smaller, but some of the European countries that you don't associate with lawn bowling have started their own associations in probably the last 10 or 15 years, and that's related to short mat or indoor bowling of some variety, where it's pretty much you take a carpet that rolls up that can be kind of easily transported from a storage room or a truck to the green, or sorry, I guess not the green, the flat floor of a gymnasium or church hall basement, whatever you want to call it. That's kind of the standard, is that it's just a roll-up carpet that a lot of people use, and it is cost effective to rent the basement of a church for $50 an hour, I'll say, rather than owning an indoor facility where you're spending hundreds of dollars on electricity, heating, whatever, plus you're owning a building, upkeep of that. So I think the short mat is a kind of the necessary thing in Canada with all those costs, because Canada being so cold, we do have a little bit of problems keeping a building warm and whatnot in the winter. And as we sort of also did touch on, there are the joint facilities. A lot of people are using soccer turf and things like that. So lots to touch on, and we'll definitely be having a video coming out here soon. I could definitely make some assurances on that one.
Awesome. Samakis, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, in the chat says Crown Green is great. It's only played in the Midlands and the North in the UK. It's something I see out there. I don't see a lot of it, but maybe down the line we'll touch on it, and we'll get a crash course on what Crown Green is and how it's played and how it's unique to our bowling family. And Milton Lawn Bowling Club, Canadian Short Mat Championships this week in Coburg, Ontario. So shout out to Coburg for hosting the Canadian Short Mat Championships. And I didn't even know those were going on. So
Yeah,
definitely
I'd
something
seen a
that we need
post
to
about
promote.
it.
We definitely need to promote that more so that everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah, if we get some results, we can definitely let those results fly next podcast that we do, because
Absolutely.
we're more than willing to sort of elaborate on it. That's always been a partnership that I've been confused about with when it comes to Bowls Canada, or Canada as a whole. Is we don't really count short mat as a part of Bowls Canada, but then I know there's clubs in Saskatchewan that are short mat clubs, and they're counted for like our membership totals. So it's kind of a weird a relationship, I think, where Bowls Canada is never really, I guess, committed to a short mat tournaments or developing the sport at all, but then they've kind of in the same breath, I guess, they still do count or have them part of the membership as a whole. So it's kind of an interesting, I guess, topic there. Do you have any sort of opinion on short mat as its belonging in Canada?
It's an interesting topic because I don't know what, and I'm saying this, I'm part of BCB, but I don't know any of the rules behind what they're allowed to have under their umbrella. So obviously Parabowls makes sense because they're still playing the same game. It's just Parabowls. Crown Green is a different format. I don't know if that would ever come under if we had Crown Green here. And short mat is, I mean, while it's bowls, it's essentially a completely different game. Played differently in gymnasiums necessarily. So it's a completely separate entity, and I don't know if that would ever fall under the umbrella unless they expanded it. I don't know how that works. But seeing how much of a struggle it is to get our game off the ground and promote it and keep it growing, constantly adding more stuff under the umbrella of our national body, I don't think would help anything in the long run, would it? I don't know.
Yeah, no, like I would agree with I just was wanting your insight to see if you sort of knew more of the background than I did, because it's always been it's always just been a question of mine, because like I know in Saskatchewan we have 2 or 3 short mat clubs, and they're considered separate from like the lawn bowling clubs, and like their memberships count part of the membership totals and everything. And so it's one of those things where I've always had that I guess question in my mind, wondering why they're kind of considered separate. But I guess as you're saying, it's like if you're comparing, I guess if lawn bowling or bowls in general is a vegetable, all these different sports or versions of it can be the different types. So it's just one of those things where they are different. They're not the same sport. So I understand where you're going with your statement about having another championship under the Bowls Canada banner would probably not be the easiest thing to arrange or sort of figure out, because it is a whole separate sport, a whole different type of rules. And that's really what our video we're going to create is about, is the differences in that sport. Because if you ever do go play it, it's definitely not lawn bowling. It's definitely a different sport.
Oh, exactly. And just to clarify for anybody watching our chat, Milton Lawn Bowling Club, who's been posting some chat things, is actually Dave Anderson.
He did not want to misrepresent himself.
Yeah. Your opinions are not those of the club, they're of Dave Anderson, I guess. I don't know.
That's funny. Thanks, Dave. It's always good to see you in the chat there.
Absolutely.
I guess one other topic we kind of wanted to get on is Luke is coming out to visit me in Saskatchewan. So I was supposed to have gotten married about 2 years ago. And with this awesome pandemic that occurred, my wedding got canceled. So Luke had a flight voucher that was expiring. So he decided to come see me. So he gets here 2 weekends from now, I guess. So we're going to try and do our first ever live podcast. So that will be an idea, something we've been throwing around, and I think Daryl and Luke have probably thought they would have been the ones to probably do it.
Absolutely,
since
yeah.
they live closer. But since Luke's going to be living with me or staying at my house for a week, we might try and see how it works. If it can be logistically figured out, it probably be the next show you'll see is two of us, probably in one camera, which will be a little bit of a different thing to see, but hopefully it works out. And it's something we've wanted to try, and I know down the line we're definitely working on kind of elaborating on that concept of maybe doing the show live so we can have interviews with people, maybe at nationals or different things. But keep an eye out for that, because that's something we're definitely going to be working on, and this might be our sort of trial set where we see how it actually works when we're in person together.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it works. We're going to do some tests on it, I think, and obviously this is our first time trying it. Hopefully it works, and then we can just keep improving on it as we go. And like Mike said, we are hoping to do some live coverage of nationals, big events, cool things that clubs are doing, and then do some possibly live interviews while we're there, and really show what the game is about, and get that instant reaction kind of stuff, rather than having to plan it out and figure out I guess interviews and pre-record that kind of stuff. We want to do it live and in person, and just have that really cool casual vibe and excitement that you only get at a live event.
Yeah, it's something with the, I guess, non being a pandemic anymore. We actually have the opportunity to maybe try some of these things now. So I think in the future, it's definitely going to become a major part of our repertoire, and we really do want to start trying to do some of those things you're saying, go to maybe some cool events, or going into specific clubs, maybe like the B Cubed in Regina is something I know we're contemplating trying to do something like that, where maybe I do a live stream here at one of those events to try and get people some information, show why you should be trying to do these different things that clubs are trying or doing to maybe improve your membership numbers, get different people out trying the sport, things like that. So we're really just trying to spread the sport across Canada as much as we can, even the world, get ideas across the world. And yeah,
I'm really excited. Like we've said in the past, we've had so many great ideas that we're like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we did this? And then it's like, but we can't travel, and this event got canceled, and all this kind of stuff. So hopefully in 2022, when we actually get rolling on some stuff that we're doing, and we're able to travel a bit, we'll get some really cool stuff out there. And Adam Randall, I managed a resting toucher on your like button. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to hit that like and hit that subscribe. Thanks, Adam, for doing that.
Yeah, no, we appreciate any sort of feedback, likes, comments, anything we can get are awesome. Did we have any other topics we wanted to go over here, Daryl?
I don't think so. I just think this being our 40th show, we're slowly rolling to that 50th, and hopefully we'll have something really cool and special for you for the 50th episode when we get to it. We want to keep improving the show. We keep wanting to give you guys all the information that you might not find yourself on what's going on in the world of bowls. Highlight good events, celebrate our champions, all that great stuff. So for all of you out there, don't be afraid to reach out to us, ask us questions. It just fuels that fire of making content and making more shows for you guys. So for those that have already, thank you. And for those that have been a little bit shy about contacting us, just contact us. Let us know.
Yeah, thanks for everyone for coming out and watching the show. We appreciate any support we can get. And I guess if that's all we got, Daryl, I guess.
One quick shout out. Adam's from Australia, so you're very welcome from Australia. Thanks. Just letting us know that our global audience is out there. And on
yes,
to you,
and
Mike,
as
sorry.
I guess if he's saying that he found a resting toucher onto our like button, I hope you all find resting touchers onto our like button.
See you guys.
Have a good day.